What if I told you your brain is not slowly shutting down with age, but is actually capable of becoming sharper, more complex, and more resilient well into your 80s, 90s, and even beyond? The real issue isn't age. It's whether the brain is being fed what it truly needs. And most people are unknowingly starving it every single day. Properly nourishing the brain is not optional, it's essential. Because the brain is the most energy-demanding organ in the human body, and when it doesn't get the right fuel, the symptoms show up fast: poor memory, foggy thinking, restless sleep, mood changes, even personality shifts. This understanding comes from decades of work by Dr. Russell Blaylock, a neurosurgeon with over 40 years of experience studying the brain from the inside out. He's known for bringing attention to silent threats like neuroinflammation and excitotoxicity, processes that quietly damage brain cells long before disease is diagnosed. Through multiple peer-reviewed publications and books, his work consistently points to one message: nutrition and lifestyle directly influence how long the brain stays functional. For years, scientists believed the brain was fixed, that once neurons were damaged, that was the end of the story. But we now know that's completely wrong. The brain is constantly changing. New connections are formed every day. Old pathways are repaired, strengthened, or replaced. This process is called neuroplasticity, and it doesn't stop at retirement age. Studies on people over 100 years old show their brains are still forming new connections. In fact, the brain often becomes more complex with age, not less. That's the biological foundation of wisdom. But this only happens if the brain is supported properly. It needs rest, it needs protection from toxins, and above all, it needs the right nutrients. The brain runs primarily on glucose, which comes from complex carbohydrates, not sugar spikes, but steady fuel from real food. Around 80% of the brain's energy comes from glucose metabolism. At the same time, the brain is made largely of fat and requires specific fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals to maintain its structure and communication systems. When those nutrients are missing, brain performance drops. Memory suffers, speech can become hesitant, focus fades, sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented, even behavior can shift. Research shows links between poor diet and higher rates of depression, aggression, and compulsive behaviors. This isn't speculation, it's well-documented neurochemistry. One of the most damaging processes Dr. Blaylock warns about is excitotoxicity. This happens when brain cells are overstimulated by excessive excitatory chemicals, particularly glutamate. Certain food additives dramatically worsen this process. Common examples include MSG, aspartame, and other hidden flavor enhancers, often disguised under names like hydrolyzed vegetable protein, soy isolate, or yeast extract. Even short-term exposure to these additives can trigger inflammation and free radical damage in the brain that lasts for years. And the problem is, modern diets expose people to these compounds constantly, especially when eating packaged foods or restaurant meals. Now here's the important part: this damage is not inevitable. The brain has powerful defense systems, but they only work when the right nutrients are present. Specific vitamins, minerals, and micronutrients help stabilize brain cells, protect mitochondria, and reduce excitotoxic stress. Before we continue, quick question: are you still with me? If you are, tap like right now. It tells the algorithm this information matters, and it helps more people protect their brain before it's too late. One of the most critical nutrients for the brain is omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA. DHA is not optional, it's structural. About 60% of the brain is fat, and roughly half of that fat is DHA. It's concentrated in synapses, the communication points between neurons. Every time the brain forms a new memory or pathway, DHA is involved. DHA is also strongly anti-inflammatory and supports neurotransmitters like serotonin and acetylcholine, which are essential for mood, sleep, and memory. Low DHA levels are consistently linked with cognitive decline. In elderly populations, people with low DHA are significantly more likely to develop Alzheimer's disease within a decade. The best sources of DHA are real foods, not ultra-processed products. Fatty fish like sardines, salmon, anchovies, and mackerel are among the richest sources. Fish roe and other traditional seafoods are especially concentrated. Smaller amounts are found in pasture-raised eggs and grass-fed animal foods. Another essential nutrient is magnesium. Magnesium levels naturally decline with age, and modern diets are severely deficient. Magnesium is critical for calming the nervous system, maintaining blood flow to the brain, and protecting neurons during injury or stress. Low magnesium is associated with greater damage from strokes, head trauma, and chronic inflammation. Whole food sources include leafy greens like spinach, nuts and seeds such as pumpkin seeds and almonds, avocados, legumes, and unrefined plant foods. These were once daily staples before food processing stripped minerals from the diet. Vitamin C is often underestimated when it comes to brain health. It's not just an antioxidant. It directly supports neurotransmitter production, including acetylcholine and dopamine. It helps regulate glutamate levels so neurons don't become overstimulated, and it regenerates vitamin E inside the brain. The most effective sources are whole foods, berries, citrus fruits, kiwi, bell peppers, broccoli, and leafy greens, where vitamin C comes packaged with flavonoids that enhance its protective effects. Vitamin E plays a unique role by protecting the fatty structures of brain cells from oxidation. It helps shield cell membranes and cholesterol from damage. Natural vitamin E from whole foods works synergistically with vitamin C. Nuts, seeds, avocados, olive oil, and leafy greens are reliable sources. Another key compound is coenzyme Q10, which is essential for mitochondrial energy production. Every brain cell depends on mitochondria to generate energy. CoQ10 also functions as a powerful antioxidant, especially when paired with alpha-lipoic acid, one of the most versatile antioxidants in the body. Here's the reality. The brain doesn't need exotic supplements. It needs consistent intake of real, unprocessed foods that supply these nutrients naturally. But nutrition isn't just about what you add, it's also about what you avoid. As we age, baseline inflammation increases. By age 75, free radical production in the brain can be many times higher than in youth. One of the biggest drivers of this inflammation is excessive intake of omega-6 industrial seed oils. These include corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, peanut oil, and canola oil. High intake of these oils is associated with increased neuroinflammation and higher risk of degenerative brain diseases. They're everywhere in processed foods. The most effective strategy is simple: reduce processed foods, choose fresh vegetables and fruits, wash produce properly, limit excess sugar and highly refined products that burden both the liver and the brain. If this information is helping you see brain health differently, make sure you're subscribed. And follow BioOptimize Vision for evidence-based insights that help you protect your mind as you age. Your brain is not doomed to decline. With the right nutrients and fewer toxins, it can remain adaptable, sharp, and resilient for decades to come.